Welcome back to JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Anime Review. This is episode number 18. This is we're reviewing if I get it, the technically this is the 11th episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures Golden Wind, and it's also the 124th episode of the anime, Narancia's Aerosmith. The episode starts off pretty much like a recap of what happened with the last episode per se, and then it cuts to Narancia's backstory, where now it seems like this series just loves explaining the backstory, like almost like every single character. I'd say like, with the exception of probably two so far. Yeah, I think those two I can think of as the blonde member of the group and Baraki are probably the only two people they haven't really explored their backstory yet. Naraki himself, well, it shows like the flashback starts off with the death of his mother, who apparently was dying from some eye infection. Instead of some eye disease. Yeah, it's an eye infection. And apparently it wasn't treated properly, so that's what caused her death. I'm like, seriously? A botched treatment of an eye infection caused her death. And they call it an eye disease. Last time I checked, I have never heard of an actual disease that involves eyes. I've heard symptoms involving it, but no disease involving eyes. It's mostly disease that gets in the torso, not in the frickin' eyes. It's like, what the heck is this? Seems like so bizarre. Yeah, and apparently Narancia's father was a complete jerk. I think that he may have actually beat his father may have beat his mother. It's implied, it's never shown. And then because he couldn't trust his father, he decided to hang out with some blonde hair guy, which he called like a big brother to him. And he's like, okay, why don't you get with a girl with my dyeing hair blonde? And that got him into trouble when he dyed himself his hair blonde. Yeah, the guy just disappeared for a few days, and then he's arrested for beating a woman, even though he actually didn't do. It was actually the guy who looked up to his mentor. He served a year in juvie for it. He got out, and he never spoke to the guy ever again. And apparently he just wandered the streets for a while, like a good 6 months. And then the blonde hair guy finds him. I don't remember the guy's name. He finds him, and then he takes him to Baraki. Baraki orders him a plate of pasta. It looks like ziti pasta. Looks like shrimp alfredo he ordered. I know because I've had shrimp alfredo. It's delicious. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like he ordered shrimp alfredo. Yeah, with the ziti style noodles and of course the alfredo sauce and the pinkish stuff. It looks like pretty much it's shrimp alfredo. Yep. So yeah, I may not be an expert on food, but I know what shrimp alfredo is because I've had it. So I know what I'm talking about. Yep. Then he goes back to school, and apparently looks like he may have actually graduated at some point because currently he is 17 because it showed that he was born back in 1984. So that means by the time of this particular season, he is 17 years old, which makes him the kind of like a bit older than Gurno, who I think is supposed to be 15. Oh, and I should point out though, this guy hasn't done virtually much of anything at all. As a matter of fact, he has barely used his stand since like episode 4. He's like been on the sidelines most of the time. He did a little bit in the little 2-part that came right after that. This one, he just did nothing. He shows up for like briefly at the end of the episode after Naraki spent like a good chunk of, I think it's the guys. It is Narahana Kina. I think it's the guy's name. Yeah, it's the guy who looks like a little boy. Yep. He does defeat Farmango. How does he defeat him? Well, it's a combination of blowing up several cars just to get him And of course, the guy he also tried to kill him by squishing him with his foot, and then he tried to kill him with a frickin' Southern Black Widow. And by the appearance of this thing, it looked like a tarantula. I'm not kidding about this. It looked like a frickin' tarantula. Where it looked like apparently this thing's ability is to inject people with venom, which doesn't kill them, it just paralyzes them. And he wraps up with webbing, just try to sort of drink him like a milkshake. I'm like, no, generally spiders don't usually do that. They usually eat their prey. They don't suck them dry. Yeah, this was particularly very bizarre. And of course, he gets out of the thing thanks to, of course, Aerosmith basically blowing a hole in the gas tank. He's able to return basically normal thanks to basically wounding him. And eventually he was able to finally kill him. And then he returns back to the vineyard. And he also lost everything he purchased. Yep, lost the car, lost all the stuff. Yeah, and then he's like, explains everything. Of course, he got basically bandaged up as well. And Gorno points out very well that I think before we move, I think we should wait for orders from the boss. And Araka is like, do you know how to contact them? And then, of course, just by sheer coincidence, the boss does contact Baraki. I don't know, maybe he had intuition that he was going to contact him, and then he sends Gorno. It's like three people. I'm trying to remember his name here. He sends Fugo, Avocado, and Gino to Pompeii. Yeah, he sends them to Pompeii to find some key to some safe vehicle. I kind of know this leads where basically in the next arc they reveal, like, after they get the key, that is when they find out. Now it's hinted here that Trish has, this is Trish Una, who was the boss's daughter. It's hinted here that she has a stand ability. This is actually not revealed until like after the next arc. Yeah, after the next portion of the story, that's when they kind of revealed that she has a stand ability. And it's like not long after that's when they kind of meet the boss, and the guy wants to kill his own daughter. Yeah, I'm not kind of spoiling it, but that's what I kind of remember what happened after this one. Okay, so this was a good episode, but some of the stuff is really dumb. Oh yeah, and apparently he got beat. Naracana basically he got beaten by a police officer, which I would have thought if this was in the U.S., the cop would be charged with assault and basically police brutality. As far as I know, he never filed charges against the officer at all. Yeah, and the woman who basically claimed it was him, I'm like, well, there's kind of something problem. I mean, aside from the blonde hair, for one thing, this guy is shorter than the guy who attacked you. Is this woman completely stupid? The fact that she blamed the wrong person? She must be, because here's two things wrong with this particular picture when it comes accusing Naraki of basically beating her. Number one, he is shorter than the guy who attacked her. And two, his face is completely different. The only similarity to him and her actual attacker had is the fact they have blonde hair. That is it. I'm like, really? This guy got arrested due to the color of his hair. Sounds like a really crappy reason to be arrested. And this was in the U.S. Guess what would happen? He'd be arrested. He'd be released immediately due to an uncooperative witness. I mean, it doesn't matter the fact these guys have hair. I mean, the lawyer easily get these people out. Yeah, his lawyer easily get these people out really quickly, like within a matter of like an hour. Yeah, he'll get out of jail. The officer will be charged with police brutality. He'll probably go to jail, probably get kicked out of the force. Yeah, solved really easily if this was in the U.S., but this is Italy, where stuff is different. Yeah. I should point out that this particular series was written back in the late 90s, despite the fact it took place in 2001. Yep. Alright. So it was a good episode. It's just some of the stuff that happens in this episode is really bizarre. As for what chapters they adapted a little bit, probably the stuff they cut out from chapter 472, but they also did 475 to 478. Excuse me, which makes, as of this particular episode, there is exactly 118 chapters left. No, 128 chapters. Yeah, I think it's 118 chapters. Yeah, 118 chapters left to go to be adapted. 128. Now, I've heard, from the article I've read for this particular season, it's going to be 40 episodes. There's something else that says it was going to be 39, which that honestly makes no sense. Yeah, I'm a little confused exactly. And this is something I gotta ask. Why weren't they doing the stuff they did with part 1, where they adapted 5 to 7 chapters an episode? This one, it seems like they're adapting 3 to 4. Yeah, my guess is the reason why they're doing this, and this is just my personal theory, they probably want to stretch this out. This is probably my personal theory on this matter, okay? So, that's it for this particular review. I was planning on doing a review of 7 Deadly Sins, but it looks like it's got to wait till tomorrow, along with not only that, but also the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. And that's it. Just 2 videos planned for tomorrow, okay? But until I see you all in my next video, bye.